Hello, good evening. Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Good evening. We can hear you, sir.
All right, we have few things to round up on currency. If not because we couldn't have the class last week. We should have ended the class last week. Albeit, we thank God for keeping us alive. Now, the aspect to be discussed. We have discussed exchange rates, type of quotation, direct and indirect, types of rates, the spot rates, the forward rates, the cross rates. We discussed currency appreciation, currency depreciation. We have discussed theories of exchange rate determination. Under it, we discuss interest rate parity theory. We discuss purchasing power parity theory. We discuss the Fisher's theory and market expectation theory. So now we are going to start with what is foreign currency risk. Foreign currency risk can be defined as the risk of adverse movement in exchange rates. Currency risk is concerned with the risk of an adverse fluctuation in exchange rates over a credit period. Where exporters foreign currency risks faces exporters who invoice in foreign currency or importers who pay in foreign currency. Two categories of people will be exposed to foreign currency risk. An exporter who quoted its invoice foreign currency. That exporter is exposed to foreign currency risk. Or an importer who is required to make payments in foreign currency. Exchange rates can be very volatile, which implies that exchange rates fluctuation can be very risky. The movement in exchange rates can affect the profits from foreign transactions. This volatility, excuse me, please, creates foreign currency risk. For anyone who is involved in buying, selling, borrowing, or investing in foreign currency. The fluctuation in exchange rates, the volatility in exchange rates great risk for any individual or business organization, even government, even country, is involved in buying, selling, borrowing, or investing in foreign currency. This foreign currency risk can be classified into three. One is the transaction risk or transaction exposure. We have transaction risk, we have translation risk, and we have economic risk. We start with the first one, transaction risk. Also known as transaction exposure. Transaction risk is the foreign currency risk that arises in transaction between two parties. Transaction risk is the foreign exchange risk that arises in transaction between two parties. Parties with different transaction currency. And where the transaction involves future payments or future receipts. Two parties with different currencies. The transaction between the two parties involve future payments or future receipts. This transaction risk is the risk that future transaction in foreign currency may result in less favorable amounts. Future transaction in foreign currency, the amount received or paid may be less favorable compared to the original amount expected as a result of timing difference, because there's a fluctuation in exchange rates between the date of the initial transaction and the date of the settlement. For example, our company based in Nigeria, we order goods from China. As of today, 29th of October, we order goods from China. And the amount is 20 million US. Our supplier in China has given us 1 month or 2 months, 2-month credit period, that you can make payments in 2 months. The amount is 20 million US. Now, between today, 29th of October, and in 2 months' time, that will be December, the exchange rate between Naira and dollar will fluctuate. Because there is a timing difference, the date is different. The date of the initial transaction is today, and you are going to make the payment in December. That creates transaction risk. That can increase the naira cost of that transaction. If naira should depreciate, the naira amount you are going to require to make dollar payments might increase. That creates transaction risk for you. And that can reduce your profit because your cost has increased. Number two is translation risk, also known as translation exposure. Translation risk arises in multinational companies. Multinational companies with foreign subsidiaries. For multinationals, they have foreign subsidiaries in different countries. The income statement and the statement of financial position of the foreign subsidiaries will be denominated in the local currency of the subsidiary. On consolidation, these income statements and statement of financial position will be translated to the currency of the parent company. In the process of translating assets and liabilities of the foreign subsidiaries denominated in local currencies to the currency of the parent company, that can give rise to translation risk or translation exposure. It can give rise to gain or exchange loss. If you picture in our minds, companies like Shell Petroleum, Mobil Oil, these companies are multinationals. Let us take Shell Petroleum. With the parent company in US, we have Shell Petroleum in Nigeria, a subsidiary of Shell Petroleum US. We have Shell Petroleum in South Africa, in Ghana. This parent company is in US and the currency is dollar. The Shell Petroleum in Nigeria, the account is maintained in naira. The Shell Petroleum in Ghana, the account is maintained in cedis. The Shell Petroleum in South Africa, the account is maintained in rand. At financial year end, all these accounts, the foreign subsidiaries, Nigerian Shell Petroleum, these accounts maintained in naira must be translated to dollar. Shell Petroleum Ghana, the account maintained in cedis must be translated to dollar. In the process of converting all these currencies, to the currency of the parent company. That gives rise to translation risk. The last aspect is economic risk. Economic risk excuse me. Let's continue. Economic risk. In just 1 minute. All right, thank you. Is the risk that a company might choose to relocate its operation to a country where currency gain in value. Economic risk is the risk of exchange rate fluctuation that can force a company to relocate its operation to another country where the currency gain in value over time. It is the risk that can reduce the ability of a company to compete effectively at the international level. This economic risk can reduce the present value of future cash flows from foreign transactions. Economic risk. Risk of adverse fluctuation in exchange rates that can reduce the present value of a future cash flows from foreign transactions. It can affect the international competitiveness of a company. This risk can also reduce remittances from foreign subsidiaries to the parent company. Multinational companies are highly exposed to economic risk. Economic risk can come from different forms. If you look at it as a multinational, when you place your investments in other countries, you are expecting returns. When you invest in other countries, you establish a subsidiary in other countries with an expectation of return. Economic risk can affect and reduce the return you are expecting. If that country currency suffer reduction in value, It can affect the ability of your company to compete. Some companies were relocating out of the country. I know of two. One is Dunlop PSC, relocated to Ghana. At a point, PZ also relocated to Ghana. Why are they leaving? Because value of Naira is becoming weaker. Production in Nigeria is at higher cost. Inflation is very high. Borrowing cost is very high. This makes it difficult for companies to produce goods in this environment. If you attempt to produce goods, you are going to be producing at an higher cost. If the cost of production is too high, that will affect your selling price. If the selling price is too high, volume of sales will reduce, and that will affect the business success. All right, we have discussed the three. I'll come back to this question. Let me round up the explanation. To wrap up the explanation is now we have identified the problem. The problem is foreign currency risk. How do we manage this risk? What are the measures that can be taken by companies, by individuals, so as to reduce the impact of that could be taken? Just that can be taken. The category one is internal measures. Otherwise known as non-financial measures. Category two is the financial measures. That is the external measures. Let us discuss this so as to round up our discussion. We have the internal techniques or the internal measures that could be taken. The non-financial measures. One of them is leading and lagging. One of them is leading and lagging. Leading means making payments early, before the end of the credit period allowed. Lagging, on the other hand, means making payments as late as possible, possibly by taking longer credits than allowed. Leading and lagging might be used by company. Leading or lagging might be used by company when it is believed that exchange rates between two currencies will change significantly up or down. You are going to talk of leading if you are making payments. You are going to make payment early. If you expect that the exchange rate is likely to rise at future periods, if your expectation is that the price of exchange rate is likely to rise at future periods, then you are going to lead, make payment early to avoid paying higher rates at future periods. While lagging is to delay payment. If you expect that at future period, price of currency is expected to fall, then you are going to delay payments. So that when you want to make payment later, you are going to pay lower rates. The problem with the method lies in the fact that in guessing the movement of the rates. But for those that operate in the market, those that operate in the foreign currency market, they know when dollar will rise. They have been working in that market for years. That's why, regardless of your level of education, practical experience is not a substitute. Acquiring experience practically is not something you can buy. You might look at those malams that are still on the streets. They sell dollar. They might not have gotten this education, but because they deal in that market on a daily basis, they can tell you that within December period, don't bother keeping your dollars. They know. So you can do leading and lagging. Some of these things we do it unknowingly. If your plan is to travel in December, and you are aware that December period, transport fare is very high, you can take a lead now. You can buy your ticket now against your traveling in December. What you are doing is that you are leading. You are hedging against increase in that transport fare. Number 2, netting. When a customer expects, when a company expects to have, when you are expecting future receipts in foreign currency and future payments in foreign currency, the same currency, about the same time, as a company, you are expecting future receipts in dollars. You also have future payments in dollars. About the same time, you can use your foreign receipts to offset some of your foreign payments. That is netting. You have a payment of $20 million to make in 2 months' time. At the same time, your customer from South Africa, your customer is to pay you $50 million. You can ask your customer to arrange the payments against 2 months. Once you get your 15 million from your customer, you don't need to convert to Naira. You're going to need to pay off your trade to net off your 20 million liability. Oh, the line is breaking. Is it better now? We have to take that again. I'll try to explain that netting again. I hope you can hear me now. Now we are trying to explain netting. We are trying to explain netting. That netting is using your foreign receipts to offset your foreign payments. You know, as a business organization, at times you make payments in foreign currency. At times you receive inflows in foreign currency. You are aware that you have a payment to make in dollars. You also make sales to your customer in different countries. Your sales proceeds will give you inflows in dollars. When you get your inflows, you don't need to convert that to Naira again. Bearing in mind that you have a payment to make in dollars. You now use that dollar received for your sales to offset your payments in dollar. That is netting. Using your foreign receipts to net off your foreign payments. That is netting. The extent to which your foreign receipts can be used to pay off your foreign payments. That shows the extent of risk you have been able, the extent of foreign currency risk you have been able to eliminate. I hope it's better.
Yes, sir.
Number 3, you have invoice in home currency. One easy way to remove yourself from foreign currency risk. One easy way for business to remove yourself from foreign currency risk is to quote your invoice. You are going to insist when you are making sales, when you are exporting your products, you are going to quote your invoice in your local currency. Let your customer go and look for Naira. Also, if you are making purchases from your suppliers, you are going to insist that the supplier should give you the bill in Naira. If you want to buy goods from China, provided your suppliers agree, tell him to quote the bill in Naira. That is invoice in home currency. That remove the problem of looking for dollars or pounds. The only limitation is the other party must agree. So if you are strong enough to force the supplier to agree to your terms, that I want to order raw material, but please give me the bill in Naira. That is invoice in home currency. Number 4, do nothing. The company in international buying and selling can decide not to take any action. To hedge against foreign currency risks. You can decide not to do anything. You are involved in buying and selling. You buy from China, you sell to South Africa, you sell to Tanzania, you buy from US, you sell to US, you are buying and selling. So you are known for international merchants. you can decide not to take any action. It is believed that some of these transactions will result in exchange gain.
We lost you, sir. I can't hear anything again.
He has gone off network, I guess.
Sorry, it was due to network glitch. I will try and explain that again. We are on do nothing. Some students are finding it difficult to join. I don't know why. It's actually going to be network. We should be done by 10 o'clock. All right. We were trying to explain the concept of do nothing. That a company involved in international buying and selling, you buy from abroad, you buy from China, you also export to China. Some are in that business. They take products from Nigeria, particularly our agricultural products. They export to China. They make sales. They don't collect cash. They also get some products from China back to Nigeria. They travel around the world. You are buying and selling from different countries. That means you are dealing with different currencies. Even our Dangote. Our Dangote has been a merchant, trading from one African country to the other, taking products from Nigeria to African country, to Arab country. That is what the man is known for, merchandising. That means you are dealing with different currencies and you are exposed to exchange rate risk. You can decide not to do anything to protect yourself against exchange rate fluctuation. You are aware that there is risk, you know. You can decide not to do anything. It is believed that some of your transactions will result in exchange gain, while some will result in exchange loss. At the end of the day, your exchange gain will be used to cancel out your exchange loss. That is the concept of do nothing. Then the last one is matching. Matching. This 1 minute. All right, let's go on. Matching is closely similar to netting. It involves matching your timing of foreign payments with your timing of foreign receipts. Matching is closely similar to netting. It involves matching the timing of your foreign payments with the timing of your foreign receipts. In the same currency. With an intent to reduce the impact of exchange rate fluctuation. By matching your transaction, you can use your foreign receipts to offset your foreign payments. The two, matching and netting, they always go together. Once you match transaction, your your future payments, you match it with your future receipts. Then you are going to now do a net off. You are going to net off. You are going to use your foreign receipts to pay off your foreign payments, thereby eliminating foreign currency exposure. You don't need to be looking for dollar. Those are the 5 under internal measures. All right. We are done with the internal measures. We now round up with the external measures. The external measures are the financial measures. We have 5 methods here, but by your syllabus, we shall discuss just 2. One is the forward exchange contract. Under the external measures, we have the forward exchange contract. The forward exchange contract is a binding contract between 2 parties. A binding contract between 2 parties to buy or sell a specified amount of foreign currency at a fixed purchase price, at a fixed exchange rate, known as the forward rate. On a particular future date. Once this contract is agreed, between the two parties, the forward exchange rate becomes the binding rate for the future transaction. That means if you go into forward exchange contracts, you can determine the rates you are going to use for transaction that will happen at a future date. If you are to make payments in 2 months' time, you can approach a bank today to enter into forward exchange contracts. The bank will give you an exchange rate today for the payments you are going to make in 2 months' time. Once the customer and the bank agrees, that rate becomes binding. Regardless of exchange rates in 2 months' time, the rate agreed today must be used. That means you have been able to remove uncertainty associated with exchange rate fluctuation. You are certain of the amount of the naira amount you needed to make your dollar payment in 2 months' time. The company is certain of the naira amount needed for the future payments to be made in 2 months' time. You have been able to hedge against uncertainty associated with exchange rate fluctuation. That is the forward rate. Then the second one, money market hedge. Money market hedge can also be used. Can be used to hedge against exposure to foreign currency risk. It can be used to hedge against exposure to foreign currency risk. It involves borrowing or lending on short-term basis. Money market hedging, please listen to this. Money market hedging involves borrowing or lending on short-term basis in the international market so as to fix an effective exchange rate. Now, by borrowing and lending, you can fix the exchange rate for your future transaction. That is all about foreign currency. That is what your syllabus says you need to know at this level. So any question? Yes, any question? and step out temporarily. I don't know if there's any question. All right. I don't intend to drag this class too long tonight, if not because of we'll have finished the class last week. There's a question to explain let's look at this question to explain the risk we are talking about. If you are involved in international currency, look at. No, I'm interested in question 2. Look at question 2, please. Look at question 2. On January 1st, a Nigerian company sells sugar to a US buyer. Amount is $100,000. Now, you have exported sugar to US. You have quoted your invoice in dollar. You want to collect $100,000. The exchange rate today, 150 naira to $1. The buyer is allowed 3-month credits. That means the buyer will pay you in 3 months' time. Between January and March, the buyer has up to 31st March to make payments. Now look at it. You didn't receive payment immediately. The Nigerian company received $100,000 from the US buyer on 31st March, sorry. On that day, exchange rates is Roma figure 1 or Roma figure 2. Examiner says calculate the exchange gain or loss. The challenge is now is that dollars, but you are going to get the money in 3 months' time. Now, what is the exchange gain or loss? Let's look at this question together. Now look at this. Example 2 solution. we have Nigerian company. That means Naira is the local currency. This Nigerian company expected receipts. Expected receipts. $100,000. That means dollar is the foreign currency. Exchange rate information. Exchange rate information. Examiner says examiner says 150 Naira slash $1. What kind of quotation is this, please?
Indirect.
What kind of exchange rate quotation is this?
Indirect quotes.
Indirect quote is 100% wrong. How is it indirect?
It's a direct quote.
It's a direct quote.
Sorry, direct.
It's a direct quote. And why am I asking this question? It is the quotes will have impact on your calculation. Whether you are going to multiply or you are going to divide, the quote will tell us. So this is direct quote. Now, you made a sales today, 1st January. The amount you wanted is $100,000. Assuming you receive the money in January, you'll have converted it at 150. For direct quotes, if you want to convert foreign currency to your local currency, you multiply. If you multiply $100,000 by 150, the Naira amount you are going to receive is 15 million. Assuming you get the money in January, in your book, you are going to get Naira amount of 15 million Naira. On 31st March, that is the date you receive the money. On that day, two things now happen. On that day, examiner created two scenarios. The exchange rate is 140 to $1 or 170 to $1. That means if the exchange rate is 140, your actual Naira receipt, $140 multiplied by $100,000. How much? first scenario now. The first one here. You have received $100,000. Exchange rate happen to be 140 naira multiplied by 140. What's the actual naira receipt? The class is silent. I got to move. You will have received 14 million. Second scenario, if the exchange rate happen to be 170, 170 multiplied by $100,000, you will have received 17 million. Your actual receipt. Now bring the expected receipt. What you are expecting in January? Our expected receipt. 15 million. 15 million. Now look at it. In January, you are expecting 15 million. In March, you got 14 million. Are you making gain or loss?
Loss.
Exchange loss or gain? Exchange gain or loss? Here there's a loss of 1 million. As of January, you are expecting 15 million. In March, you get 17 million. Do you make gain or loss?
Gain.
Gain of 2 million. That's what the examiner says you give him. That's what the examiner is asking you to calculate. For scenario 1, look at it, please. Calculate the gain or loss. That's what the examiner is asking you to calculate. The first scenario is a loss. The company will lose 1 million if Naira should move to 140. Second scenario, the company will gain 2 million if Naira should move to 170. Then the B part. Look at the B part. Suppose that the Nigerian company operated on 10% margin. That means when you make sales, 10% of your sales represent your profits. Now calculate the final profits under the two scenarios. You made a sales in January that was 50 million naira. That says to you in naira, it's worth 15 million. Out of this 15 million, 10% of that sales represents a profit to you. Now look at it. We have two scenarios. Scenario 1, scenario 2. Profit 10% of 50 million naira. That means the profit we are expecting is 1.5 million. Now exchange gain or loss. For scenario 1, if scenario 1 should happen, we are going to incur loss of 1 million. Scenario 2, we are going to make a gain of 2 million. No, this is gain. The final profits this is 500 naira, 500,000. This is 3.5. You are done with the question. You can see the extent to which foreign currency can affect your profits. For scenario 1 now, because of fluctuation in exchange rates between January and March, the profit from that transaction has been reduced to 500,000. For scenario 2, fortunately, it increased your profits. That is that about exchange rates. And on that note, we shall be stopping the class here. We have exhausted all the aspects that we are required to touch. It is the design that we are going to have class tonight. I already have a plan that your class will end last week. All right. As much as possible, let us review our material. We don't have a pattern of how the question will look like. But in your exam, watch out very well. You cannot escape questions like source of finance. Source of finance involving how to calculate theoretical strike price. Yeah. And you can't go to that exam without understanding financial ratio analysis. Any question, please? Because I will be checking out any mail for now.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
question? All right. I'm assuming that no question. Wish you all the best in your exam.
Amen.
Looking forward to seeing you
Amen.
at the finals.
Amen.
All right. May God give us a better understanding.
Amen.
Amen.